Hello everyone, I have a serious problem. I am obsessed with Darcy, and to a lesser extent, Amphibia in general, but I am so obsessed with this show. It is becoming a problem. So, I'm going to talk about a theory that I have, but real quick, I'm a very disorganized person, so I need to get this off my chest. This show is absolutely changing how I live for the next month. It will, or like it is. It already has started changing how I live, and it will be until it is over, and maybe even beyond. I'll go into more detail in a future video, and more detail into this elaboration later, but I'll say that right now, this show is taking over my life. I am planning on moving out next month from my house. That is a big step in my life, and you know what the only thing I can think of is? Darcy, Amphibia, anime powers. That's all I can think of. I can't stop. It's a problem. Moving out is such a big step in my life. You know, I'm finally becoming independent, being able to live on my own, well, with friends, but you know what I mean. It's such a big step in my life. And what am I thinking about more of? Darcy and Amphibia. I can't stop. I literally cannot stop. So, today, I'm going to talk about Amphibia. If you can't already somehow tell, I wanted to talk about the root of evil a little bit. So, a few days ago, I reviewed The Core and the King because, you know, we had our double episode. We have The Root of Evil and The Core and the King. They're both super good episodes. The Core and the King was extremely good. Probably one of my favorite episodes of Amphibia to be released so far. And there's only a few episodes left. I believe if you count like, you know, like two episodes in one, I believe there are 6 episodes left. So the newest coming episode coming out in a couple days is Newts and Tights and Fight or Flight. So I have some theories that I want to talk about that I think will be coming up soon. Not so much for these 2 episodes, but just in general. And that's going back to the root of evil. So I didn't really touch too much on this episode in my Core and the King review because I was just way too obsessed with Darcy. Because, come on, can you blame me? It's freaking Darcy, dude. But I wanted to talk about, again, Darcy, but also Gary. So I have a theory. First off, I want to talk a lot more about the Core, obviously. The Core is, right now, seen as unkillable, right?
These conquerors, with their arrogance and greed, created an unnatural thing that does not sleep and will not die.
We don't know why the Core cannot die. We know just a decent amount about the Core right now. There's only like 6 episodes left, and there's still so many more questions we have about the Core. So, in Olivia and Yunyan, Andreas claims that with the research of the Mossmen and the weird fish things, that they were able to, as he quotes, conquer death for the Core. And he's like, and thus the Core was born. That doesn't make sense. The fish are like little ghost things, but the Core is just a computer. You just upload your mind to the computer. I don't know how that's any different. It doesn't really make sense to me, but whatever. That's how they did it. People are inside the Core, and they're alive there. But the thing is, like, the Core wanted a body? For what purpose? Does the Core really need a body? I was just thinking about this, like, does it really need it? It said it wanted to have one, and it wanted to have a smart, intelligent person to possess, but why does it need a body? It's just a computer thing, right? We've seen it's threatening, like, ball spider form thing, and it clearly can, like, move around pretty well. Obviously, it'll have to stay on the wire, probably, but, like, if this is such a big threat, you know, if the Core is so evil, if it can't die, then why would it want a body? Obviously, it's a computer, so I guess it makes sense that it can't die, because you can just, I don't know, reboot it. It doesn't die. It's a freaking computer. It's a program, sort of, in a way. I don't know. It's really, really weird. I don't understand. There's so much about the Core that we just don't know, and that is one of the main questions, is why is it immortal? Or why can't it be killed? Can't you just smash the computer? If you smash a computer, it's dead. I mean, obviously, you could just fix it, bring it back. All those people would still be alive, maybe? I don't know. What if you just burn it so the data's no longer there? I don't know. It's a little weird. And now that they're inside Marcy, like, what if... what I would hate for this to happen, what if Marcy dies, you know? What's the Core gonna do then? Is it still gonna be able to control the body like a zombie? Is it just gonna have to go back to its stupid ball form? We don't know. There's just too many unknowns with the Core. We don't know enough to make any solid theories at this point. However, besides the fact, you know, we don't know how they're going to beat the Core, but I had an idea. So if this is such an unkillable thing and there's no way to beat the core, we don't know enough about the core, what is one thing that can beat the core? Obviously, unplug it. I don't know, maybe. But what is one thing that can beat the core? And I was wondering this myself. A big question I was asking myself with a lot of these, final episodes was, what is the point? What is the point of this episode? Why is it happening? So I was looking at the root of evil. What is the point of this episode? Why is it happening? Okay, they're getting new recruits for the army. Cool. They've been doing that a lot. They've been getting recruits so much. They've been getting supplies, recruits. They had in Grimes people. They even got more recruits with the Toads. Maybe in Newts and Tights, they're gonna get even more recruits in the next episode. We don't know. But I was thinking, despite all the fact that they're getting recruits, what is the significance of Gary returning? Obviously, they have the whole wildlife under control with the mushroom spores, and there might be another type of mushroom like Gary out there, right? But I was thinking, Gary possesses minds. You know who else possesses minds? The core. Darcy. The core is possessing Marcy's mind. What if, hear me out, what if Gary put some mushrooms on top of the core? Put some mushrooms on top of Darcy. What if that happened? What would happen? We don't know. We don't know. But this is my theory. I think Gary, Apothecary Gary, is going to be key in saving Marcy. I think so. I don't think he'll be directly responsible, he's not going to be out on the battlefield, but I think when it comes down to the confrontation of Anne and Sasha versus Darcy and obviously Andreas, or something of that sort, they're not going to be able to kill Marcy. They can't. They cannot attack Darcy. They're not going to. We already know there's going to be a confrontation where Anne and Sasha they're not going to be able to attack Darcy because they can't hurt their friend. That's Marcy. They can't hurt Marcy. But maybe with the right tools, aka Apothecary Gary Goo, maybe they can, hotwire the core. So there is this image that is very adorable of Marcy, just dancing with her friends, and what is presumed to be inside the mind of the core. In The Core and the King, Darcy mentioned that Marcy is trapped in a little room up here. So whatever Darcy is, keeping Marcy in, Marcy might still be sort of conscious, because why else would you need to imprison the part of Marcy in somewhere? I don't know. But Marcy is locked inside this part of her head in a little room, and maybe the core is just showing her visions of, being happy with her friends so that she won't, retaliate against the core. I don't know if she will be able to, but I don't know. Maybe we're gonna see. This is my very descriptive theory, but it very well could not happen. I just really thinking about why is Gary back, and this is the reason why. What I think is gonna happen is it's gonna be Anne or Sasha versus Darcy, and they're gonna try and fight. They can't beat Darcy. Darcy's one too strong. They just got that optimization stuff. They removed a bunch of excess memories, which, by the way, the memory wipe in process, that's actually an error. It was confirmed by, I forget who now. I'll put the post here. But it was confirmed that was actually an error, and it was just supposed to say, optimization in process or something. So I don't think Marcy's memories are actually lost. In my last review, I said, hey, Marcy's memories are probably lost. I actually don't think so. I think they got rid of redundant memories from all the members of the core, and maybe Marcy too. And when I say redundant memories, I don't think they'll just erase Marcy's memory, because that feels a little too much. That feels like too many plot points. I feel like it's just going to get rid of redundant memories. Oh, I had fries for lunch yesterday. Who cares if you had fries for lunch? No one cares. Push that out of your system. You don't need it. And especially when it's a freaking computer, you can't exactly forget, so you just have to manually shove that sort of stuff out of you, make room for new stuff. So that is what I think is happening with the core. And if they're going to be optimized to, for combat, which surely they'll have to be, they have to unhook themselves from that wire eventually. They can't stay on the wire forever. That's what I think is going to happen. But when it comes down to the confrontation, Anne and Sasha aren't going to be able to hurt Darcy, so they're going to try and get the Apothecary Gary Goo on top of Darcy somehow. And I think, they'll probably use the Calamity powers to end up, putting the Apothecary Gary Goo on Darcy. This is a dumb theory. I'm sorry, but I this is what's going in through my head all the time. I'm supposed to be moving out, but this is the stuff that's in my head instead of thinking about making a deposit on a house or anything. Anyway, so they're gonna put the Apothecary Gary Goo on Darcy. That's gonna pretty much unlock Marcy. It's gonna be pretty hard because, you know, it's gonna be a battle between Apothecary Gary Goo and Darcy / the core possession. They're gonna be both trying to get control of Marcy, right? Because I don't think you can take control of the core because the core is just too many minds. But maybe you can take control of Marcy since it's her body. So it'll be two forces fighting for Marcy's body, right? And maybe what Gary's gonna try and do is just like push Darcy out or give Marcy a fighting chance, you know, through the Apothecary Gary Goo. Anne and Sasha can send a message to Marcy inside of Darcy and be like, yo, those freaking friends of yours, they're just illusions, you know? We're the real ones. Get out here. We can settle our baggage later. Kind of like what Anne and Sasha said they'd do with each other. Which I also want to talk about Anne and Sasha and how I don't think, you know, their relationship was rushed. People thought their relationship, you know, being rebonded was rushed. I personally don't think so. I think it was actually handled very well. And we're still seeing the results of them, you know, coming together and still forging their friendship back together. I think it's really well written and not poorly paced at all. Just my opinion though, once again, I am not, you know, a writer or a critic. I am just a person who likes Amphibia. That's all. Anyway, so what's gonna happen is Marcy's gonna be able to regain control of her body through the Apothecary Gary Goo. It's not going to be enough, right? Marcy on her own is not gonna be enough. She's gonna need more power. This is when Marcy will unlock her calamity powers. This is it. This is how it'll happen. Marcy will get rid of the core taking over her with her calamity powers. But the key to that is Apothecary Gary. So Apothecary Gary basically is like, he basically, think of it like this. Here's a metaphor. It makes a door. You know, Marcy's trapped in a room. There's no exits. Apothecary Gary makes a door. Marcy just has to open it for herself and walk out. And the core basically locks the door, but the calamity powers are the key. You see? Does that metaphor make sense? It probably doesn't. I'm a freaking idiot. I'm sorry. I'm not smart enough. I don't have the Marcy smarts to explain it better than that. But that is a theory that I had, and I thought I would share it with you all because why else would Apothecary Gary return? Why else are we getting this whole mind possession thing besides, like, you know, oh, here's a part of our army that's well coordinated because it's all possessed by Gary. Maybe I'm going on the wrong track. I mean, it seemed like, you know, the sort of plot with Gary is that, you know, there's going to be someone else out there, and there's the whole mind caller thing. But I just thought, in my head, what if Darcy got some Apothecary Gary Goo on her? What would happen? You know? That was my biggest question. And it just makes you think, is that a real possibility? Is Apothecary Gary really going to bring down the big bad? I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe even, I don't know. It's just like, could Apothecary Gary possess people on the enemy side? We don't know. Either way though, I think I'm gonna end it there. I'm gonna have another video coming out tomorrow, talking about, probably, just, again, Amphibia, talking about what I expect for the finale and how I think it's gonna be super, super good. I just wanted to share this theory first, so thanks so much for watching, everybody. We've been getting a lot of growth on this channel in these last few days. Obviously, I can tell why I'm talking about trendy things and not just playing random video game number 50, so just thank you so much for all the support. I love reading all your comments. I read them all. I absolutely love them, you know. It's a great time getting to read through all the comments. I have so much fun, you know, reading and responding and interacting. It's a great time, so yeah. Anyway, that'll be it for me. Let's await Newts and Tights and Fight or Flight together, and hopefully I'll see you all tomorrow for yet another video. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have yourselves a great day. Bye-bye.